Ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here from YouTube. In today's video, we're going to be checking out Telos, baby. Now, they are dubbing themselves as the fastest EVM. So let's get into this. Now, welcome back, folks. If you could do me a huge favor, smash that like button and subscribe. Also, check me out on Twitter at Real6Fig. We'll get into Telos here. It's making news on Google Trends, simply because it's up 27% in the last few days, folks. That's right. That's a nice haul for those invested. On the year, this thing's up almost 2,000%. Where can you find this? Pancake Swap, KuCoin, Gate.io. I don't know if I've ever heard of BKEX, but it does look like they got some halfway decent 24-hour volume on that exchange. But let's get back into it here. Market cap sitting at $232 million. Total supply is 355 mil. So this thing's really close to hitting that dollar mark, which would put this thing at about a $355 million market cap. Now let's get into the charts to see what exactly is going on with Telos. So we can see that Telos has squeezed to the upside very nicely. We can see that there was a death cross that happened and price just went crazy. Now, this is a pretty decent size Ichimoku cloud. So I do think that, since we are seeing this really tall wick from 95 cents down to 80 cents is really no surprise to me, because when we start seeing stuff pump 20% plus, we can kind of figure that, hey, there's going to be some selling along the way. But what happened the last time Telos was in this kind of situation? Well, we can see that this thing had a very nice run up of almost 700, 850, somewhere in there percent. So that was a really nice gain. But one thing I'm looking for when we start to see price action shoot up like this is the presence of Elliott wave theory, because there's a good chance that this will be visible as the days come. So right now, I'm already kind of seeing a possible Elliott wave theory move to the upside. So by rule, if we saw this occur, 0.2 to 3 would have to be longer than 0.0 to 1. So let's just pull this. Bear with me 1 second here. And so we'll have to see 3 come up to at least this 98 cent dollar level for this to be Elliott wave theory. But then we might see price action kind of fall back down. Then we might see 0.5 somewhere out here. But this is the worst case scenario if this is in fact Elliott wave theory, because I think that if this thing gets going, there might be another another price movement like this from 0.2 to 3, quite possibly. Now, there's one thing that we just need to take a look at here, and I like this 12-hour chart. That's basically because we can kind of see where this 50 and 200 moving average are. So right now, it wouldn't be a surprise for me to see this thing come up to this $1.25-ish level, somewhere in there, as long as the rest of the market cooperates. I do want to just quickly check a couple different things. Where price action retreated to from these all-time highs. Okay, so the 61.8 is a great place for price action to bounce. You guys have heard me say it on this channel before. A lot of people will buy the dip at 50%. A lot will buy the dip at 61.8. And if you're really lucky, you can buy the dip at the 786 for a nice reversal. So on the charts, there is kind of this inverse head and shoulders that did form. And you can see that price action really reacted nicely to that. So I want to just kind of see what points this thing is fighting with right now. Interestingly enough, when we go up and throw a Fibonacci extension on the chart, we can see that price action is really kind of messing with the 786 level. Again, to the downside, this is a great point to reverse. To the upside, it's the same rule. But if price can get through this 786, I do think that this $1.20 range may be on the table for price action. As long as we could maybe get some sort of retest of this $1.18, $1.20 level, I think would show a lot to the holders of TLOS. So Telos, there it is. One other thing that I'm looking for when we start to see price action ripping off like this is the fact that, let's close all this stuff. I am looking for price action and the relation to Ichimoku Cloud. And as we can see here, how once price action just reached a certain point away from this Ichimoku Cloud, the cloud pulled it back in. So here's another example of it right here. Here's another example of it right here. And here's another example of it right here. So for right now, there's just not a whole lot of data here to suggest how far away from the Ichimoku Cloud we truly are. The daily candle closes in about 5 hours and 6 minutes. So we'll know more as time goes on. I don't know too much more about this coin, but I would say if I had to take a guess at it, this thing could be poised to return back to the $1.20s, somewhere in there. Not financial or trading advice at all. Again, if this thing does break down, I think the 72-cent level, the 54-cent level, and quite possibly the 43-cent level is in store if this thing truly breaks down. And looking at this thing on a bigger picture, let's just say we get this $200 or this $1.20 out of Telos. This is what I'm seeing. There is this possibility for a gigantic Head and Shoulders to come in and kind of ruin the party. So just kind of keep that on the back of your mind as price increases here. Don't be afraid to take profits if you're trading Telos. I would wait for a solid pattern, like a very nice ascending triangle or something like this to form at this point before this thing takes off again. And in addition, I mean, somebody could also argue on the fact that, hey, there may in fact be some Elliott wave, theory move to the upside here as well. So I do think that if that happens, in the bigger picture, you might even see $1.42 out of this thing come late spring, summertime, somewhere in there, or possibly within the next few weeks, depending on how much this thing starts ripping upwards. So short-term guess is that, okay, if we can make it past that 786, maybe this $1.41, if we get past that, $1.67, this is wild speculative price action. We'll see resistance around this 90-cent level, $1.03, $1.20, as I mentioned, $1.41. We'll keep working up the ladder like that. So as of right now, I mean, I'm never one to really trade the hype. I'm always kind of the guy that waits for these patterns to set up and then just kind of enjoy liftoff. So with that said, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video on Telos. We'll see you guys all on the next video.